Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast, episode 98. I am the host, Movement. Pardon? I have Chris, Jack and Matt with me this week. Say hello everybody.
Where's Toast? He's sunning it up in Hawaii.
Yeah, no Toast to space this week. He's currently in Hawaii. He is in the chat though, apparently. So I'm going to say the same thing that I said to him when I was here in the chat and I wasn't actually on the podcast. Why are you not doing big things with your missus?
Talk about doing big things with your missus. We are sponsored by Manscaped.
Right.
Oh dear.
Before we get into all the big pay-per-view-ness that happened this week, I will go through the news. We've got quite a lot to get through, so there might be some bits that we need to talk about in some detail, so bear with us. First of all, WWE have confirmed that Samoa Joe has been suspended for 30 days. He's violated the wellness policy and will return around the 25th of March.
Samoa's injury anyway, so
yeah. Samoa's if Joseph done goofed. Yeah. Was it? What is he injured again?
Yeah,
did you see how he got injured in a commercial or something.
They were doing a commercial shoot and put him through a table and he got concussed.
I love Samoa Joe, but that man is a walking injury. That's why they never put a title on him, because he's just a liability.
I mean, it's fairly easy to get injured going through a table. What I want to know is why are they putting people through a table for a commercial?
What commercial is it? Yeah, I want to know.
Yeah, but this is like the commercial that they did ages ago when they put the attitude into WWF
like
or whatever it was.
I bet
and they were throwing Kane through fire and whatnot.
Yeah, but that banter.
Banter. That's fine.
Okay.
There's no CGI anyway.
It was a commercial for Homebase, confirmed.
Yes.
B&Q commercial.
Blue Chew advert, I think, if I'm being honest.
How does one get pop-out chat on Twitch? Fuck's sake.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
You can pop the chat out. I'm trying to work it out.
Up the chat.
So,
what's that? You want to pop your chat out?
We are sponsored by Blue Chew and Manscaped.
This is the second wellness policy violation in the last month or so, isn't it?
We don't know what it's for, because Andrade was for do it. He did what Primo did and was like, yeah, I'm not going over there to do a.
Was that what it is with Andrade?
Yeah, rumors. He did what Primo did, where Primo was in Puerto Rico and he was like, yeah, I'm not coming to America for a day to do a drugs test. Just suspend me.
Yeah, I'm not being funny, but didn't Paige use that excuse? And yeah, and that turned out to be horseshit.
But if we don't know what it is for, we probably won't know what it's for. So.
No, we won't.
You can get done for it. You can breathe and get 30 days.
Yeah, pretty much.
The thing is, they went 17 months without having one, and then I think there's been 5 now since the 1st of December.
Well, it's like buses, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
So who's been suspended recently? So Andrade, Primo,
I can't.
Samoa Joe.
I genuinely can't remember, but there was
Roode.
Yeah, Robert
Roode.
Roode, and there's one other. I can't.
Yeah, I can't.
I will give you a full list. I will give you a full list in a minute.
Excellent. While Chris is doing that, Mike Johnson of PW Insiders reported that WWE have offered Matt Hardy a move to NXT. His contract with the company is ending on the 1st of March. So what's that today?
Today.
So there's lots of rumors around that Matt is the exalted one in AEW.
It definitely isn't, because they said obsolete on this week's TV. Therefore, there's every single person that they've kind of tried to steer things towards. It's not going to be. It's going to be somebody that you don't.
They are really, really pushing it towards Matt Hardy, which makes me think it's not going to be him. Which makes me think he's staying in NXT.
Yeah. The thing with the thing with the Exalted One stuff is they did a thing this week with binary code, and I tried to find out what it was, and it just said join the Dark Order. I was like, well, that's helpful.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, lads.
I have an update for our suspension list. So there wasn't a violation for 3 years. There was 2016 between 2016 and 2019. 2019.
Was the last one Roman?
2016 was Adam Rose, Connor, Roman Reigns, Del Rio, Paige, Eva Marie, and Paige again. 2019 was Primo Cologne and Bobby Roode. But that was like right in December, those two violations claimed. And 2020 was Andrade and Samoa Joe.
Oh, right. I was wrong. I thought it was 5.
Okay. In recent light, because of the coronavirus fears, New Japan Pro Wrestling have cancelled all of their shows until the 15th of March. This can have massive complications because it's in conjunction with their anniversary shows that they do, as well as the first 7 shows of the New Japan Cup. We've not had any confirmation from New Japan about whether the tournament's going to be moved at all, whether it's going to be cancelled altogether, or whether they just lower the amount of wrestlers involved.
So the date, was it the 16th they're coming back, like the first show? Is it 16th of March?
I'm going to say yes, just for this.
That day is supposed to be the first round of quarterfinal matches. So the entire first round is pretty much scrapped at this point, I would have thought.
I mean, they're surely going to have to move it. They're surely going to have to move the whole tournament.
Imagine.
It depends what happens in the next few weeks, though, as well, because obviously
with the growing trend at the minute, it's not looking positive right now, if I'm being honest. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, protecting the public is and the people that you contractually own are of paramount importance in comparison to the event.
And plus, they've got a lot of Americans in there, and flights could be cancelled and whatnot.
Yes,
and we don't know what it's going to be like in like 2 weeks.
People, it's not slavery. It's
okay. I said contractually, and then by that point, I'd run out of words, so I decided to go with owned. I mean, obviously, I don't believe that New Japan enslave wrestlers. But
excellent. Okay, that's fine.
But the Yakuza might
clarify that. Like, there's a load of countries in that region that have had all sporting events scrapped over the last few weeks. Like, I know the South Korean Football League hasn't had anything for like 2 weeks at this point, and there's other stuff that like all around. I assume they're just scrapping all kind of public events in that area because it's
for the best. You don't want people.
Oh yes,
yeah.
No, that is very true.
Like, obviously, Six Nations is going to be affected, like in Europe, and that's a lot further away than Japan is to China.
Yeah.
Thing is, if the New Japan Cup did go ahead with the first round as in current form, there are some decent, notable first round matches. You've got Okada and White, you've got Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. and Ospreay and Shingo Takagi. So,
what's the theory they could do this behind closed doors? Does it?
I mean, they could, but
I mean, yeah. I'm sure it would lose some of the sort of the feel of it. But if it's a case of the show must go on, then doing it behind closed doors, it's certainly at least the first round.
They've just cancelled. I don't know.
Well,
they put something on their Twitter, and I've looked on their I looked on their website briefly.
I think
they were having people get money back. I think. Sorry, Matt, I cut you off.
The two easy options are either halve the amount of wrestlers and start at the quarterfinals, or wrestle 2 matches in one night. So have the round of 16 and then have the quarters and semis on the same night.
Or just postpone the whole event, or just postpone the whole event like they've done now, move it to like a month from now, at least until there is a plan in place. Because at the moment, everything, from what I gather, the plans certainly in the affected areas right now are, fuck it, just cancel everything. And until we have the situation contained a bit more, then they can sort of look to work out a plan going forward.
In terms of wrestling booking, I don't think they can push it on further in a month, because the winner of this gets a title shot, and I'm pretty sure that would happen at the G1 Supercard.
Yeah.
In is that Mania weekend, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in terms of wrestling booking,
they can't really
be interesting.
The thing is, I've just looked on their website. The refunds policies, they're just saying, look, if you cancel it, you'll get a refund. You cannot exchange it for anything else. Yeah. So that kind of makes it sound like as if they're not extending.
Well,
you can keep it and use it later.
Everything is on hold at the moment, and it will be for the foreseeable future. And until they have this whole situation contained, which they clearly don't in Asia at the moment, then everything has to remain on hold. It's not worth any sort of risk.
Oh no, definitely.
So yeah, I think people have got use a bit of common sense and go, look, okay, I'm just going to sit back and wait to see what happens. There's a continuity of booking. It shouldn't I mean, I think that shouldn't be at the forefront of people's mind.
I'm just saying that they probably won't do that because of that, but safety is paramount in this.
Yes. AEW this week have announced potentially two signings. One of them is a definite confirmed. That is former IWGP US champion Lance Archer. Thoughts?
I've not seen that much of him, but is he a big lad?
He's very tall.
Boy. Yeah. Obviously, he was he lost the US title to Moxley.
Him. Okay, yeah.
So
I like look of him.
Boy. I first became a big fan was G1 Climax.
I mean,
against Will Ospreay was world class.
Is he the one who was shouting at children?
Yeah.
I like that. Yes, I like that. Yeah, okay. I'm fine with that.
The other potential signing, which happened through Revolution, which I'm sure we'll talk about again in a minute, is Colt Cabana. So Tony Khan has said that Colt Cabana is now working for AEW, but hasn't said whether he's signed an exclusive contract or not. He turned up during the pre-show last night.
I could see him.
That made sense.
I really don't care.
I mean,
that's because he's best friends with Toriano. That's why you don't care.
I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't know that. I now I care. AEW is dead to me.
I could see
AEW's already dead because bloody War Games.
Yeah.
We'll talk in a minute. Oh, fuming. No, I could. Oh no, Matt's fuming. Okay. I could see him being used in some sort of auxiliary role in a sense of maybe doing some, not necessarily commentary, but I don't really think his main focus is going to be wrestling, maybe a bit of producing.
Tony Khan said he's going to be wrestling.
Okay, fine. I mean, Colt Cabana is a perfectly fine wrestler.
Big tag team with Orange Cassidy.
I mean, I don't want
Orange
that.
Cassidy's already in a tag team.
I know, I'm joking.
Oh, in your place. I know, I
smacked you back down there, man.
Yeah, fair. I mean, he's very, very good. He's a very good talker. So, yes. I'm fine with that.
The other thing that happened this week was the Super Showdown. I don't think it actually happened.
It did because there was two title changes, so it did happen.
It didn't happen.
You're going to get a shock when you see who the title holders are.
I know who the title holders are, pal. So
how can you not say it happened? It's Mansour's. It's Mansour season, mate. The streak is on.
Mansour season.
Fuck that one. That one took a minute for me to catch up to. Fair play.
Yeah, because I didn't hear what he said properly until afterwards. I was like, "What? Oh yeah." So two title changes happened. Miz and John Morrison beat the New Day to become new SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
SmackDown less than 24 hours after winning the title.
Did they?
Yeah,
lost to the Usos.
Bruh. And then I'm not going to read how Jack's written it.
Why not?
Fine then. Okay then. Big Uncle Bill Goldberg, my guy, my hero, my uncle, beat the Fiend to become Universal Champion for a second time.
The best decision the company's made in probably 7 years.
Oh, here we go. Here's Matt's troll mode kicking in.
Wait. Cheers. Smoothman's crying. Yes. Was the end of that. Yes, I don't agree with the Fiend losing the title. But
so the only segments that have done more than 1.8 million on SmackDown since it went to Fox are the Goldberg segments, which pulled 3 million. It's quite a big jump.
You can see with the viewing that SmackDown were on 2.72 million this week, and who was on it? My uncle, my guy, my hero,
and John Cena. And it was a sellout. It was also a sellout without tickets being comped, which is unheard of.
So WWE in 20 years' time are going to make a new TV show, network special, similar to Ruthless Aggression, where they're just like they're going, "We've got no new guys. What should we do? Bring in Goldberg."
No, they will, because they'll have all of the AEW guys. So it's fine.
Okay, honestly, right, the Goldberg thing is very clear a transition to Roman for Mania, and honestly, it kind of works to me. I mean, they shot themselves in the foot with the Fiend booking for months and months and months. We all know this. It's a conversation we've had many fucking times already. And it sets up Fiend and Cena at Mania as well, which I'm fine with. I think that'll be a perfectly fine match.
The way they
out of it, in my opinion.
What?
The way they did it with Cena saying that he's not going to be at WrestleMania, then he goes up the ramp and the camera work when the Fiend was behind him. I
liked it.
It was absolutely abysmal. You've got John Cena comes out and goes, "You don't need me at WrestleMania. You don't need this."
I said the camera work was fantastic.
Yeah, and then he walks up the ramp. The lights go down. The lights come back up. The Fiend is there. You think, oh, the Fiend might do something. The Fiend points at the fucking WrestleMania sign. What fucking trash?
That's because it's WrestleMania season. It's called pointing at the sign season.
It's a contractual obligation to point at the fucking sign.
If you're in that arena, you have to point at
it. Contract.
You have to get, on average, at least 3 points per WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's fine, but this is just...
We've had 4 already.
Pointing at a sign. The Fiend
over
would ever be pointing at a sign. That's not what the Fiend is for.
I think that's what I should do on Twitter every year. Is just print off the WrestleMania sign in my room and just sit there pointing at it, and then just put it as my profile picture.
Like Timur said in the chat, the pointing at the sign is essentially a contract signing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, have we seen how they've had I think 4 Elimination Chamber matches talked about live, but only 2 of them are happening?
No.
There's only, considering me and Matt had this revelation last night on Revelation.
Yeah. I'm surprised you actually remembered it, to be honest, Jack.
The Elimination Chamber is next week.
Really?
3 matches announced.
Really?
2 of them are chamber matches.
Yeah, it's next Sunday. We've got the tag team Elimination Chamber match, which was announced last night. We've got the Raw Women's Elimination Chamber. Now, Lacey Evans has talked about going into an Elimination Chamber. She's on SmackDown. And Sheamus has talked about going into an Elimination Chamber. He's on SmackDown. I don't think he's in a tag team, so I don't know
Royal
how.
Rumble in an Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
The other match is Braun Strowman versus Nakamura, Cesaro, and Zayn in a 3-on-1 handicap match for the Intercontinental Championship.
Really?
What?
Really?
Yeah. Big scenes.
I mean, just want to point out that I was happy to see Sami Zayn do his hell of a kick again. I've not seen that in ages. But then, yeah, that's
Can
bad.
you repeat what you just said?
3-on-1.
No, can you repeat what you said about Sami Zayn?
Doing his hell of a kick, whatever it's called.
You mean that's not what you said the first time?
A hell of a kick is what I said, yeah. All right,
hell of a
okay.
kick.
It is hell of a kick. It's a hell of a kick. Hell of a kick.
Yeah.
Hell of a kick.
Well, I'm sure we'll probably talk about.
We know Paul. I mean, if she doesn't win, that'll be big L.
Yeah, cool. We're gonna mix it up a little bit this week. We'll start with AEW Dynamite, so then we can get into actually talk about Revolution, because there's no point in talking about AEW after we've talked about Revolution. So, the night started for Dynamite this week with the 30-minute Iron Man match, not a 30-man.
30-man Iron Man match.
So just lots of numbers on the screen. You can't actually see the wrestling. But yeah, this was a fallout from all the stuff that happened between Kenny Omega and Pac over the past few weeks, with Pac attacking his friends, etc., saying, "Where are you?" Standing in the cold in Newcastle wearing full gear, all of that.
Yeah. New style.
I really liked it. I thought it was very, very good.
Iron Man match quality.
Yeah.
When it got towards the end and they were 1-1, I was like, this is going to go to a draw, isn't it? Oh, why are we not getting overall winner? But luckily we got
drama.
Sudden death rules.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but there's no way they were going to have it like left at a draw. Like, you couldn't have done. And I think I controversially, this is my match of this week. I think this is better than anything that was on the pay-per-view. I still don't think it's match of the year. I think Wrestle Kingdom had better matches than either last night or this match, but I think this match was just incredible. This was the best combination of wrestling and storytelling that we had anywhere. The fact that it builds the tension between Omega and Hangman Page because Omega decided that when his own moves weren't enough to finish Pac, he'd go back to using the Cavaglie rather than using a buckshot lariat. He's calling back to, I don't trust my current tag partner. I'm going to use my old mates.
And the way that he's bringing out the Young Bucks still with him.
Yeah. And Adam's just hanging back.
The bit that I really liked of this match was how brutal I think it was Pac did a Falcon Arrow into the apron.
Oh my! No! From the apron to the floor.
That was it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it
sounded horrible.
The apron is the hardest part of the ring.
It is, but he launched from the apron, so therefore onto the nice cushioning floor. It sounded fucking brutal. I just want to say that as of right now, I am. The only thing that I'm genuinely invested in wrestling right now is the combination between Young Bucks, Adam Page, and Omega, and I never thought I'd say that. Considering going back fucking months and things like that, when we were all saying, "Oh, this Adam Page thing, we're just not getting it."
Yeah, me and Matt spoke about that.
But honestly, I fucking love this story. This story at the minute, I'm loving every second of it. And it's the only thing I really care about in wrestling at the minute. I haven't watched a second of NXT this week, which is... I've watched like 2 clips, but I've not sat and watched any highlights. I've not gone off and tried to watch anything.
NXT was infinitely better than last week's NXT. Infinitely. Last week's NXT was trash.
Honestly, we'll get on to NXT soon, but for me, I'm really, really starting... I get AEW now. And that's not to say I didn't overly get it before, but I really do. I'm really in it now.
Yeah, this year AEW has been almost perfect. I think the pay-per-view disappointed for me, but the rest of it, like the TV show, has been infinitely better than it was before Christmas because there's not 3 joiner-side angles going on at the same time anymore.
It's also getting to the point where Tony Khan's having to dispel rumours that he's moving the show to Monday nights.
Yeah, but like only idiots would think that he was ever going to move to Monday nights. They're not even drawing 1 million viewers yet. Why would they even attempt to go up again?
I know.
True. After the match, Tony Schiavone interviewed Pac, which went splendidly. Just why?
Literally, Pac's just going. What is the point in this?
Like, why? What? You just lost after all that. You've just lost, and he's like, "You trying to annoy me?
You taking the piss?" I think that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And Lewis goes to go like, "What the fuck?"
And then we just get a sighting of freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy come out and pretty much just stand in front of him, which set up the match for Revolution.
I did like a sort of muttered Pac going, "What the fuck?" And you usually hear very clearly on the mic.
Yeah,
what the fuck.
Yeah, it's true. We then had the Inner Circle against Jurassic Express.
Hang on a minute.
What?
Pac got confronted by Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
After the
match. Yeah, after the match.
Yeah, okay, I missed that. I'm playing FIFA. Oh, my
bad. Inner Circle versus Jurassic Express. So Inner Circle was Sammy Guevara and Proud and Powerful, whatever you want to call him, Santana and
Sammy is fast becoming my favourite wrestler.
As Matt likes to say.
Yeah,
I'll repeat it because I don't think you guys may have heard of it. Sammy's fast becoming my favourite wrestler right now. I really like Sammy Guevara.
Matt's not convinced.
No, Matt might not be convinced.
After last night. And,
we'll see. The match, this one was just standard. I wasn't overly excited for it. I kind of was half watching it. But Jurassic Express won.
Big dub.
Luchasaurus doing just lucha things. Love it.
Yeah.
Lucha things.
His tail whip kick is quite nice too. Yeah. But he has got long levers for legs, so.
Well, he is a dinosaur, so
short arms, big legs.
Exactly.
Big dogs.
Butcher
and the Blade versus Best Friends. I really like this week.
I really unlike this.
I really did like it.
I last week I realised that the Butcher looks like Dick Strawbridge from Scrap Heap Challenge, and that's it. I can't watch them anymore. The Butcher and the Blade and the Butcher.
They're also
Scrap Heap Challenge.
So it was a show on Discovery that then moved to Channel 4, where teams of like 3 and 4 people used to go to a scrap heap to build a contraption to do a challenge at the end of the show.
It was awesome.
It was fucking incredible.
Oh, I love that show. Hosted by Robert Llewellyn, the one who did Crichton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Legendary show.
Absolutely incredible show. And the Butcher looks exactly like Dick Strawbridge, who was one of the team captains for a while. And I can't look past that anymore. So the Butcher and the Blade and the Buddy are dead to me.
It also doesn't help that the Butcher and Blade are pretty much irrelevant nowadays. Considering they just debuted a couple of months ago.
Did the old fucking WWE SmackDown versus Raw game taunt where you drop to one knee and then drop to the next knee and
I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's just
I can't do that. If I went down to one knee, I ain't getting back up again. I'm like,
was that how you proposed?
Can you help me? No.
You went down on one knee and I was just like, yeah, okay.
I'm down. You're gonna have to help me up. Oh dear.
Yes, Smooth, and I'll marry you.
Cheers. I do like Chuck Taylor and Trent. I've said this numerous times at the moment, and not because of Orange Cassidy. I think their wrestling is very good. And they actually got the win this week, thanks to shenanigans from Cassidy, though, because him and the Bunny were in the ring. They swapped headwear and eyewear for reasons, and then he was nearly low blowed again, but stopped, and then it kind of went to the outside, where I think it was Trent gave a roll up. I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. So me and Jack spoke a little bit about this on stream last night. Orange Cassidy, the comedy side gets old very quickly. He has two things that he does. He either taps people in the knees or the shins or whatever you want to call it,
the crowd, though,
or he puts his hands in his pockets and does a tope. And that's fine the first time you see it. Or it's really exciting the first time you see it. It's fine the fifth time. We're on like the 10th or 11th time at this point of him doing a tope with his hands in his pockets. It's just the same shit over and over again. It's getting old already, and he's only been on TV less than 6 months.
But they're now having him wrestle properly. So.
Yeah.
He tried as well, which is always good. It's good when he tries.
Yeah. So that came out at the end of this segment, didn't it? Because they were like, he will accept your challenge, but you need to be on note because he might actually try this time. Yeah. And then Trent was like, I can confirm or deny whether he will try. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't think Orange Cassidy knows what he's going to do. He's just going to turn up and see what happens, which is brilliant. I like Orange Cassidy a lot.
And you're in the majority. Like he's in the minority for not liking Orange Cassidy.
There's so many people turning up to AEW events at the moment wearing double denim and a t-shirt with his face on it and shades.
Oh, he's over as fuck.
There's so many. He's so over. He must be selling decent t-shirt amounts.
Decent merch sellers.
Yes. Very nice. We had a four-way women's match with Big Swole, Shida, Shanna, and Sakazaki.
Why?
What?
Why not, Matt?
For reasons,
Okay,
I think this was to give Shida a win to kind of boost her again.
Every other match on this card had some semblance of a storyline going into it. What did this match have before it randomly happened? Because it wasn't even one of the pre-announced matches. It was just a random match that happened. Now, if they'd have done it this coming week, then you could have said, this is the number one contender to face Nyla Rose in the stupid War Games or whatever, the Blood and Guts or Blood and Gore or Blood and Murder or whatever they're called.
See, I would have thought that this would have been a match to set up Big Swole as the next contender after Nyla, but Big Swole lost.
What I thought.
Because as soon as I saw this match come up, I thought I'll be Big Swole then.
She ate the pin.
Oh my gosh.
She actually did.
Oh, jeez.
So she's been, her and, was it Statlander that got in the face of
Nyla
last week? And then Swole is eating the pin on the following Dynamite. It just doesn't. As much as the women's division is no longer about the Nightmare Collective, it's still being booked abysmally. And abysmally is me reserving myself. I'm holding back.
It's a shame because last week I thought it was okay. Last week when you had Nyla Rose come out and you had as I said, you had Statlander and Big Swole come in and then you thought, okay, was that either last week or the week before? You thought, well, okay, at least they're trying to do something here. I mean, yeah.
And then they straight away.
Personally,
it looked like they were trying to get some sympathy for the Japanese girl that wasn't Yuka Sakazaki. Is it Hikaru Shida?
Yes. Yeah. I'm just going to say yes.
Who is the one who wrestles in the MC Hammer pants?
No, that's Sakazaki.
Yes, yeah.
I'm terrible with names anyway, and we've only seen both of them like 3 times. But it was trying to get sympathy to her, and it's just try rather than try and tell all of your women's stories with one match. How about we tell a couple of different stories or have a couple of different builds towards having some semblance of a women's division? But this is another step in the wrong direction. They were almost doing it for the last couple of weeks, and they've just killed that dead with this 4-way. And now what are they going to do? They've just had Chris Statlander lose and Big Swole eat a pin. So where do we go from here? Who's next on the? Who won this match?
I was trying to look at this a little bit more. I was trying to look at this on a more positive light.
There isn't one.
By saying they're getting TV time, which they probably wouldn't have got.
Yeah, but if it's TV time, it needs to have a reason. I'm with Matt now because I'm thinking about it. This should have happened this week, coming up now, because this match made no sense at all. Yeah. Because it didn't.
According to this, it says the four of the top contenders to the AEW Women's Championship battle in a fatal 4-way match.
Yeah, so have it this week and call it a number 1 contenders match, and then you announce it before. It doesn't need build. Then, if it's a number 1 contenders match, it doesn't need some form of a storyline going into it. Well, it wasn't a number 1 contenders match. It was just a random fatal 4-way.
The biggest problem with the women's division at the moment is the fact that they are jumping from feud to feud within 30 seconds of each other.
Yeah, because they don't care about, you can see how much they don't care about it by the fact that they put the title match straight after the tag match last night.
Yeah.
There was no chance of any match getting over in that situation. That should have been where the Dark Order SCU match went. Or that should have been, every other match on the card realistically needed to not follow that tag match. And they gave it to the women because if you have a vagina, they don't care about you in AEW. They don't care about your stories. They just you can argue with me all you want, but
I will say one woman's name, Brandy Rhodes. There you go.
Is there a women's match every week on AEW? I've not watched AEW every week.
There has been one women's match on every.
Last
AEW
week was Shanna and Statlander.
Do you think that it's almost like a prerequisite to have at least one women's match every week? For fear of the IWC backlash going, you don't give a fuck about the women's division.
Absolutely, there is.
They're saying that already.
The problem is they're doing it that way, and they're not actually booking storylines or anything. Kenny Omega's distracted with the fact that he's got to book himself in this feud and this amazing Young Bucks, Hangman Page, and himself storyline. He's got to book this, and he's also booking the women's division.
Yeah.
And he's clearly not paying any attention to the women's division this week because it's gone from maybe looking like something that they could build back down to they clearly don't care about the women at the moment. It's not their priority. And
what would have mattered more is if you didn't have that match and just had an interview segment with Nyla Rose and Statlander.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They didn't the Nyla Rose Statlander match was announced on Twitter after the Dynamite before, and before this Dynamite, they didn't mention it at all on Dynamite. So there was zero build apart from a Twitter graphic. That was the only build to Statlander versus Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
I
see your point.
The build they had to every other match on that card. You had Orange Cassidy, so you had Darby Allin had all his skits where he couldn't talk, so he was using the cardboard, throwing it on the floor, and doing these artistic vignettes. Guevara was responding however he was. You had Jake Hager and Goldust had their build to their feud. Every other feud had some sort of build to it. But the women's title match was, here's a graphic on Twitter. This is the match you're getting, and that's it. They just don't care about the women. Bearing in mind they said that they were going to make it equal and they were going to pay the women's stars as equally as they would the men and treat them as equals. Their booking of the women has been shocking.
Yeah, I agree. It's a never-ending cycle because to get people invested in it, there needs to be story, and for it to be a story, there needs to be time. But then at the same time, you can't give time for no reason, especially on a 2-hour pack show like that. So it's a hard one to just draw something out of the ground. I mean, so last week it wasn't too bad because you at least had some sort of sentiment, but again, it's just you just throw four randoms in a match and go, okay, fine. And the one that they were building, Big Swole, they just go, and you lose.
And you lose, yeah.
And you eat the pin.
Yeah, you eat the pin. And where do we go from here? Oh shit, we've got nobody to challenge Nyla Rose because the person who was at the top of the rankings has just lost. We've said that you don't lose and then have another match. You've got to go back down the rankings.
To be fair, the match wasn't particularly good anyway from what I saw, so...
It wasn't great, but yeah.
The last thing to happen on Dynamite before Revolution was the big weigh-in. I kind of said this to you guys in the DMs and just went, yo, WWE, this is how you build up to a pay-per-view.
Yeah. It had proper big fight feeling.
They have done this properly. We know that AEW are coming in with this. We're going to treat it like a sport. We know that. So why not have a weigh-in like they do for boxing? I don't watch boxing. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the nonsense that happens in it.
Matt said this on the stream last night that brilliant that they had the weigh-in. I really like that. But they need to continue with the judges.
Yeah, where are the judges? You know, they had the judges for the Cody match.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been...
I completely forgot without you mentioning it, to be honest.
Yeah, so that would have been a great long-term story. If they had judges for every pay-per-view top title match going forward, then in 2 or 3 years' time, when a match finally goes 60 minutes, when they've built that investment and Omega's finally in a title match and he tells his best stories when you're doing like longer matches, you could have had a match go 60 minutes and then the judges mean something. But
that's proper old school booking now.
You can't just have judges for one match and then have a weigh-in for the next match and then have something else that feels a little bit MMA or boxing for the next match and then go back to the judges and then go back to the weigh-in. Like, you can't jump around with all this stuff. I don't mind them only having weigh-ins for this kind of reason because this was really well booked for a weigh-in. Like, the fact that they did the whole... There's an MMA family that come out and do this. How Jericho came down to the ring wearing the thing.
Painmaker posse.
Yeah, and it's a play on an MMA family that I forget the name of now. I can't remember, but they do it. They all come out exactly walk the ring like that and everything. And yeah, that was brilliant. And the way that they managed to get a mass brawl without it feeling overly WWE booked was perfect. I don't mind them doing the weigh-ins like this, but if they're going to have judges have for one match, have it for all of them, and then it just makes it even more of a proper big sport feel. And yeah, that's my one tiny little criticism of the booking towards the Moxley Jericho match. But in terms of this segment, it was absolutely incredible the way that Jericho criticizes the ring announcer because the ring announcer tells him to get on the scales first, and he's like, no, the champion goes last. And
brought up WCW.
Yeah, buried WCW and
Jericho took big digs at Kansas City as well. We made him a Holmes joke, football.
Yeah,
which was quite cool. Because it gave him massive cheap heat, but not like the cheap heat you get where Baron Corbin would do it. Jericho does it in a way where he will piss you off.
Yeah,
and the fact that he didn't actually, I don't think he actually got weighed.
He didn't in the end. But yeah, he
went stalled and stalled and stalled.
Right, with the clothing off, and then Moxley went, I'm fucking sick of this. and just nutted him.
Yeah.
Split his head.
Which then made it that more special going into this match, because you also got the stuff with Dustin and Jake Hager. Darby Allin was in there with Sammy Guevara. It just made everything relating to those people's matches mean something and get you hyped.
And then it ended with the paradigm shift onto the fucking scales.
Yeah, he uses Moxley's own move on the scales to say, right, this is the ending, to kind of go, what's going to happen at Revolution, which I think was class. Like, I said this on Twitter today, going into, after watching Revolution, I think the fact that they don't have pay-per-views all the time makes me actually interested to watch it from start to finish without getting bored. Yeah. And Revolution, we're going on to that now, is exactly that. Even though there were some matches on here, the women's match wasn't overly great, in my opinion. We'll get to it, but that and maybe obviously the bit with Orange Cassidy and Pac didn't feel like it should be on a pay-per-view. But I was still interested from the moment the pay-per-view started. They're doing
a really good job of obviously this Blood and Guts is a episode of Dynamite, so they're having these big weekly shows which don't feel like pay-per-views.
Yeah, it's
is a good way of building it, and that obviously it boosts ratings as well and whatnot.
So the pre-show, also another dig at WWE. I'm sorry, I'm digging massive holes into WWE.
We're talking about AEW.
I know. WWE. The buy-in was only for half an hour.
I didn't mind.
Why can't WWE do half an hour pre-shows with just one match?
They do on NXT, and they don't have a match on it all the time.
They've
got to do it on, right.
I know what you're going to say. I know what
they've got to promote the matches. So we got to see video packages twice every pre-show. We got to have Booker T get a payday.
Pat McAfee,
Pat McAfee in his suit and shorts. You know, we got to have an hour, sometimes 2 hour pre-shows. We got to have it.
2 hour pre-shows are the worst. Especially at WrestleMania weekend, where you stay up because it's normally for your birthday and you're like half asleep and it gets to 4 a.m. Huh?
I said I didn't know WrestleMania was in November.
My birthday's not in November.
You said it's for your birthday, or my birthday's in November.
Shut up.
Guess who's got the Monday off after WrestleMania?
Guess who's got 2 weeks off for Easter?
All right, word flex.
Do big watch along, even though I won't be there because party.
You'll probably be in like Berlin or something.
No, not this year. Let's get back to Revolution. The buy-in was SCU versus the Dark Order. I missed half the match because AEW forgot to put it on their YouTube. Idiots. So I had to watch it on Twitter.
Why wasn't it on YouTube?
I don't know. I went to it and I saw that they had like a 15-minute "this was live," and then I was like, watched it and I was like, well, it's not live because it's finishes. What's going on? So I just went onto their Twitter and it was on Periscope.
Well, that seems like a weird way of going about it, but
it was very odd. So I missed most of the match. So go on, Jack, take it away.
Dark Order and SCU was alright. It wasn't. It's what happened after the match that really mattered, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
So Dark Order beat SCU, which obviously we got predictions. So we'll go with the predictions as well, which Smoothman and Matt picked the Dark Order. I picked SCU along with Chris.
Absolutely.
Limbs.
It had to be Dark Order because...
Yeah, but as soon as... If it was on the main show, I think it was good. That's why I picked SCU. And then once it went to the pre-show, I was like, they're not going to reveal any Exalted ones or anything like that. So it's going to be Dark Order to win, which was put me in the mud a little bit. But then after the match, that's where Colt Cabana came out and debuted, helping SCU.
Yeah, because they were getting beat down, weren't they?
Yeah, because
everybody was because you started the watch along and you looked really confused. We're like, who is this? And I was like, it's Colt. Did you not hear it? It's like Colt Cabana.
I wasn't ready for this. I was.
You were very drunk, to be fair.
But then, obviously, Colt came out, and then Christopher Daniels came out. But obviously,
he was wearing a robe, and they played the Dark Order's like theme.
Yeah.
So it looked like as if we were going to get to see the Exalted one.
But obviously, he then jumped in the ring.
Swerve.
battering Dark Order. It seemed really like he revealed itself, and then like literally a second later, he was beating down Dark Order. So there wasn't anything to say like, "Oh shit, Daniels has actually turned. He's actually the Exalted One." Oh my god!
I think seeing him wearing the thing made people go, "Oh, he is the Exalted One."
Yeah, but then it's literally a second there because he took it off and then instantly sprinted to the ring and attacked Dark Order, which is like okay. And then the four of them celebrated in the ring like they won the match.
Yeah, it was very good.
Still don't understand why Colt Cabana was in that situation. Really don't get it.
To give him, look, he's here. He's part of AEW, innit? We're in Chicago.
Being part of AEW, but it's just more AEW Dark fodder, isn't he?
Dustin.
You got to remember, Dark's going to TV.
That's true.
Dustin versus Hager.
Hated it.
This was fucking.
You hated it.
15 minutes of fucking main event trash.
It needed to be a squash. Personally.
Right. 15 minutes of nothing happening. Dustin sexually harasses Jake Hager's wife.
Yeah.
And then Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara goes 5 minutes.
Was that only 5 minutes, that?
Round.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
25 minutes of nonsense around like WWE would before the match.
Yeah, I'll be honest. As I said, I mean, I wasn't able to watch the show live. I was in Jack's stream and then did big fall asleep during pre-show. But I've caught highlights, so I've been sort of seeing what I was able to be seen, and I had no idea that was the length. I personally wasn't a fan of the Hager match. I mean, I personally think this should have been a squash. Should have been a couple of minutes. Hager just fucking mauls him, and that's it. Yeah,
it makes Jake Hager go from before it. I felt like he was Jake Hager, the MMA fighter who's quote unquote undefeated.
It's Jack Swagger now, isn't it?
Yeah, and that played out like a boring Jack Swagger match.
And he did the gut wrench powerbomb as well. I'm like, you're trying to just sort of.
He also did the Vader bomb. He also used to do that in WWE. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know like what he was like that much in WWE. I didn't watch for the most part when he was in it, but he went into that for me feeling like an MMA fighter, and he came out feeling like a WWE failed mid-carder.
I'm agreeing with what Curtis said. Like it should have been heavily majority MMA fighter, not pretty much even.
It started an MMA fight. He did very Brock-esque start where he sort of lifts him up, charges him into the corner and starts wailing on him. I thought, yep, that's what we need. Wail on him, do a finisher, get up, walk out. Kiss your wife and leave. That's sort of sexual assault.
I don't like the kiss the wife stuff either, because like if this was WWE, we'd be criticizing it for the like non-consent stuff. So we should criticize AEW for it. You should not be like kissing women who don't want to be kissed. I don't care whether it's to further a storyline or anything. That's not okay in any circumstance.
And he's a married man, goddammit.
Yeah,
stop
like
cheating on your wife
and it's another way where AEW don't give a fuck about women. Just rape kiss you for the sake of it to further a storyline for the men because we don't care about the women's storylines.
And it was such a odd match to start the night with as well. It wasn't the barn burner to come out.
It seemed to be.
Should have been Sammy and Darby should have started.
And the ending was kind of like fell flat a little bit.
The whole match fell flat.
Yeah.
Because I think they tried to big up that MMA fighters can do big submissions and choke people out. And that's what they did. And then it was like it wasn't clear that it was a stoppage either. He just kind of just stopped.
So they were facing away.
The bell. I was like, what?
They were facing away from the hard cam, so you couldn't actually see Dustin.
But they didn't lift his. Do you know like how they lift his arm to see if he's all she did was touch his hand and he that's very MMA. That's MMA style. That's looking and going, fuck, he's out. Right, ring the bell, done. Or ring the bell or stop the fight. It just felt a bit odd. I don't know why.
The
Maybe
ending was very MMA.
To raising the arm and dropping it, and
they don't do the whole 3-time thing anymore. They stopped that a long time ago.
No, I know, but WWE just do it once, don't they?
Yeah, but it's not WWE, it's AEW, innit?
It depends what.
No, I know. So yeah, okay. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara, I really liked.
I loved the start of this match.
Far too short.
It should have been longer, sure. But
I think it was dead on 5 minutes. Okay, there was a lot that happened in that 5 minutes.
It was.
A lot of the match was 5 minutes, but a lot of stuff happened before it, though, didn't there? Because the match didn't officially start.
Yeah, but we don't need that nonsense. Just have the match start and then do that nonsense.
Because it's the only way that they can get their stuff in where they use tables and stuff.
Yeah, but no, it's not, because every single AEW match on Dynamite, not every single match, I'm overstating, but on Dynamite all the time, they use weapons outside the ring, and they stay outside the ring for 45 minutes, and the referees don't call a disqualification or call a timeout. They do this all the time, so why in the pay-per-view match do they have to do it where the match doesn't start, then they use all their weapons, and then they get in the ring, and it felt very WWE.
It gets them around the DQ rulings that they have to try and enforce.
But there's been several times where the referees just ignore the DQ rule.
That happened after this as well.
Yeah,
that's what my big bugbear is later.
They use the New Japan style of the referees want to have a conclusion, so we're just going to ignore the rules, which I'm usually fine with, but don't then force things to happen before the match for one match, but then allow it in other matches.
It's how many matches have there been that have ended in I can't think of many matches that have ended in DQ in AEW.
One
main events didn't have finishes for the first 3 weeks of Dynamite. One was a DQ.
No, there's been one.
Brawl.
They mentioned it last week. There's been one. Because it was the match where someone hit someone with a chair. I can't remember what
Sean Spears. Sean Spears hit Cody.
No,
there wasn't a match, was it? That was just out of nowhere, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was either this week on Dynamite or the week before.
First one was last week.
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember them saying it last week. Curtie's right, because they said this is the first match to ever finish as a DQ.
Havoc should have got that record.
Who was it?
Fuming.
Was it the Pac match? No.
Don't know.
It doesn't matter.
In the Iron Man match, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
All the way.
Yes, it was that match. He hit him with the chair, and that was the first disqualification because they mentioned it. They made a massive deal out of it. I remember. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, like Ethan saying, Pat, it was a bit Pat.
Was there many JR-isms? Last night.
He tried to big up. Well, they bigged up this comes later, but he bigged up the Young Bucks' book, and then Excalibur tried to drop in about JR's new book and how he'd read it, and I was like, "What?"
I was listening to Jack whilst watching most of Revolution and watched the rest of it without commentary because I can't listen to JR because he can't commentate.
There was another one where he started saying random words. Like he started talking about that was it. He mentioned something about
pretty sure he mentioned his website.
Probably. I don't know. They were talking about
do big plug.
There's like some quote where it's what did he say?
Did he actually, Ethan? He apparently called Jake Hager Swagger.
Yeah, he did. He said, he Swagger's in the ring. Well, that's what he kind of walks around with now because he realised he'd called him Swagger and had to get around it. But no, there was another one where he was like saying, I've got a friend called Julie. And then was like talking about how she was from this place. That's it, town called Malice. They were talking about, he's from a town called Malice to Pac or something. And then he was like, I've got a friend called Alice who's from Malice. She's not a very nice person. I was like, what?
Just retire, old man.
What?
Just retire.
But you're shooting on your wife, mate. You can't have that.
Come on.
It's a massive jumper.
Yeah, it was mad. But
I really cake and swagger one.
Should we get back to Darby and Sammy? Before the start of the match, watching Sammy Guevara do a 630 senton through a table is pretty incredible.
Yes.
I thought someone was going to die.
No. I thought Darby Allin was going to die when he did that fucking tope and landed short.
He caught his heels on the ropes, didn't he?
Literally, a wrestler died last year from that happening.
I missed it at the time, and Matt said, Jesus, that was a bit short. And I was like, what are you on about? Watch the replay, and I was like, okay, he's just face planted the floor.
Yeah. And like less than 3 minutes later, Sammy did the version of the curb stomp where the guy stood up.
Yeah.
And is a little bit too high and legitimately stamps on Darby Allin's jaw on the ring apron.
Can't part of the ring. Did you know that?
It was true story.
Another botch as well, and it this is just another reason. Like people are raving over this match on Twitter, and there was 3 or 4
good.
really loose spots.
Yeah, but that kind of played onto the thing, right?
It played onto how mental they are.
He did it on the stomp, right? And he caught his foot on the rope, right? And they said, "Oh, it looks like he's rolled his ankle." So then when he goes to do the Spanish fly, he doesn't really get onto the top rope properly. Yes, that could have been a botch, but they played it on with what they said earlier, which kind of worked. Because they're like, "Oh, he's rolled his ankle early and his ankle's not 100%, and he's had ankle injuries before. Therefore, he didn't quite get onto the top rope and slip." And then did a Spanish fly, which didn't look great.
There was too much loose stuff going on and too much nonsense before the match for me.
I mean,
I wouldn't expect from a brawl, Matt.
But they're supposed to be the company that is anti-WWE, and we want to get away from it, and we're all about the actual wrestling and not about the nonsense, and we want to tell stories and have
this needed it because of everything that's happened before.
With Darby Allin being a heavily unconventional wrestler, it kind of suits him. Because,
but also,
I
completely agree with Curtis. I completely disagree with Matt. I thought it was great.
I've not seen a start to a match like that before. I've not seen a match start like that at all. It's insane.
Yeah, completely. And the fact that Darby Allin has had his throat attacked numerous times, one with a skateboard. When he's coming into this match, he's not coming to this match going, "Oh, let's do a bit of test of strength. Let's do some mat wrestling. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?" No, they're going to brawl each other.
Yeah, and you can have a brawl without all the nonsense that we had in the match and all the botches. All of it took away from people are talking about this match as a 4.5, 5-star match.
No. It's not that.
3.25-star match at best.
It's not a classic or anything. It's two guys just fucking going at each other. In terms of story, it was brilliant. Maybe the rest, maybe yes, there were a couple of botches, but in terms of story, it was fantastic. Darby Allin went at him like a fucking psycho, and I loved that.
Perfect.
Yeah. I want story and wrestling. I've said this all along, and on Dynamite for the rest of this year, we've had story and wrestling, and this match just fell a little bit short on the wrestling side for me.
If it had another 5 minutes, do you reckon you'd have enjoyed it more?
I think the problem was there was too much outside the ring before it got going, and then the rest of it was just loose spot after loose spot after loose spot, and then a finish. I think if it had 5 more minutes, we'd have had 3 more loose spots, because I don't think
they would. Oh, okay. Well, then let's look at it this way: if the match had a stipulation, was it a no DQ match or a street fight or whatever you want to call it?
They call it a lights out match, don't they?
Or whatever, or something along those lines. Then maybe that would have suited you more, or what? Because to me,
I would disagree. Because we're always talking about Moxley only being in one type of match, and it's
and Darby Allin's in that sort of thing.
Darby Allin.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. But I'm trying to see from Matt's perspective, because for me, I really enjoyed it.
Darby Allin hasn't been in that many. Yes, they did to start with, but he's been in a few actual wrestling matches and proved that he is an actual wrestler. So I wouldn't have minded if they'd have done a no DQ match. But I just didn't like the way they told this story. I think it could have been done better.
Jack's been very quiet in this.
He's livid.
He's livid. I can see
it. He's livid, mate.
Well, Jack, what do you think?
I agree with Matt. I don't think the nonsense before the match lasted longer than the match itself, and I don't mind the brawl before the match, but it didn't need to be that long. And I would have preferred, especially coming off the back of Hager versus Dustin, which went on far too long. I mean, if what you're saying is true, then in the sense the match went on 15 minutes, then they needed a bang, spark everyone back into like fucking fireworks, shot things going everywhere. That's what that was. Yep. In theory, the card should have started because then the next match was the tag team match, and that for me went on far too early. But Matt said it last night that they might have put the tag team match on then to be that fireworks spot. Because the first 2 matches, for me anyway, didn't feel like AEW.
It should have started. if that's how if that's the theory, then it should have started. If it needed a barnstormer to kick it going, the tag match shouldn't have started it. The tag match should have gone after. It should have been.
The tag match should have been near the main event.
The tag match should have been the third match from the end. And I literally, as it was going on, me and Jack both didn't enjoy those first 2 matches as much as we thought we were going to.
Okay.
And I said maybe they've called an audible and they've brought this on early to try and bring it back up. Now, then I checked Twitter and actually people were raving over the Alan Guevara match. And obviously from everything that's been saying here in the chat,
me.
Yeah. Okay. I said here and in the chat. So here would be, this podcast that's going on, Smoothman. I'm not sure if you know where you are, but we're on a
Matt's got to get his digs in, man. Get your digs.
So, me and Jack are clearly in the minority, but I think the placement of the tag match is a bit iffy. I think maybe it was done so that they could get the women's match in after it, just so they could kill the women a little bit more.
Maybe. And, that happened next, which had a great promo package. Literally had everything.
We didn't mention it on Dynamite, but the sit-down interview with JR.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's why I kind of saved it for this, because they kind of did talk about it and showed bits of it. The fact that you were a jobber in Ring of Honor before we picked you up and made you a star. Yeah.
Brilliant lines.
Big limbs.
And then was that no? Because there was a secondary one where you got Omega at the end going, "You're damn right, I'm worried about him." Oh God, I love that. That's so good.
The fact that he's like, "Oh, why are you asking that question?" And then he just gets up and leaves.
Adam Page is the fucking wild card in all of it, and it's brilliant.
Why are you asking that question? And I'm done here. My drink is empty.
That is genuinely how Matt would answer these sort of questions.
We're trying to big up we're trying to have a big match for a pay-per-view. Why are you going off?
But the best bits here were like Omega accidentally says that they've stumbled into being tag champs, and Paige just looks down at the belt and looks either side of him, and then just takes another swig of his drink.
and then JR brings up, "Oh, you're looking a bit awkward over there, Adam."
And also Omega accidentally JR says obviously the Young Bucks call themselves the best tag team in the world, and Omega goes, "Yeah, they are." It's like, and Paige is like, "Well, hang on a minute, we're the champions. Why are you picking them up? We're fighting them on Saturday."
And the whole thing's about, okay, so if circumstances were different, Young Bucks should be champions now, but they're not. We're champions, and I can see it from Omega's perspective. You can see it from Paige's perspective, where he's like, "Well, this is just disrespectful to me. I've worked my arse off, and I was the one who was supposed to win everything, but I worked my arse off, and I'm now a tag champion with my best friend, and and things like that." Just the story. There's so many dynamics to it. It's a story I've not seen before, if I'm being honest.
Not where you've got all four of them are best mates, and one of them's got a little bit of a screw loose.
It's a bit of a wild card now, and I like it. Wild card bitches. If you've watched Always Sunny, that's basically the wild card bitches moment.
Wild card bitches.
I don't know what you're talking about. The match itself was I know Matt's already touched on it a little bit. He thinks that it wasn't as good as some other matches he's seen. Personally, I think this is the best match I've seen all year.
Last night,
for a long time.
Me and Jack both felt like the match fell a bit flat. I've since rewatched it. I think I've certainly got a higher opinion of it after rewatching it than I did straight after watching it last night. Now, I did say I think it was not the women's match, but the match after that I fell asleep in. So I was in a state of falling asleep and just kind of head was all over the place last night. It was a fantastic match. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it was match. I think the storytelling is the best story that's been told in a long time.
Yeah, but
I think some of it was a little bit slow in places, and I know that's Omega's style and everything, and I don't think the wrestling within the match allows it to be called the best match of the year so far. I think Ibushi versus Okada is still my match of the year at the moment, but this is probably third. I just about preferred the Iron Man match on Dynamite to this as well, but they're on a very similar level. But this was an absolutely incredible match. Just, I think they're holding something back, and I imagine that they're going to redo this match in Blood and Guts or whatever they're calling it. Because they can't
maybe,
and then hold off until Double or Nothing, possibly.
Yeah,
have the same match again and then go
I think this isn't the last time we'll see this match.
Oh, not a chance. I mean, I reckon this could end up. It depends on what happens with. I think Omega's the key to this now, because there's only because it's very clear that the Young Bucks and Hangman have exploded or imploded or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, there's so many times in the match.
Oh, like, yeah, exactly.
Slapping where like he was working on his back.
That's the one thing I really liked was because there was one point Hangman threw Matt into the railing on the outside and then went to powerbomb in on the outside, and Kenny came over like, "No, what are you doing? You know he's got back problems. Stop doing that."
Yeah,
and threw him back in the ring.
But then on the other side of it is the Bucks taking off Omega's tape and working the shoulder, and then you got Nick's hand shaking halfway through it because he's in a massive dilemma about what to do. And there's so many elements to this story. It's fucking incredible.
It was great. The fact that Hangman Page was giving it old Marty Skill vibes with the
chicken wing.
Yes.
No, he goes super kick. Just kidding, and then kicks him with the knee, and then gives him the chicken wing. And I was just like, "Wow!"
The crowd went mega pop on that one.
That popped me. Like I was going mental. It was brilliant. Like the top rope moonsault to the outside from Hangman Page was flawless. Like literally was so good. Go on, Chris, you're going to say something.
I'm just sort of reading off Curty in the chat. Hangman's just released a kids book. I reckon if someone turned to be Omega, that would be fascinating. Yeah. If Omega turns, that would be fascinating.
It's like there's no way Hangman Page is turning. They've said repeatedly in several interviews that in 12 months' time, Hangman Page will be the face of the company. You're not going to have a heel as the face of the company, so it's going to be either the Bucks or Omega or the Elite even turning in this storyline, and it's going to be incredible to see if they can actually do that and get them booed, because
I reckon you can.
We said that Jericho did well to get the crowd to boo him at the weigh-in because obviously he's over as fuck, but a heel, and he does well to get the right reaction. Like he'll get cheered on the way to the ring, and he always manages to work it so that people get him booing him. I'm not sure if you're going to get an AEW Smark to boo the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega.
They booed them last night, actually.
Yes, they did. Bucks work heel anyway, though.
Bucks always been heelish.
Yeah, I mean, I can almost see how it's going to happen. All four of them in the ring. You know, you got Hangman and Omega that stand next to each other. The Bucks standing facing them, and then all of a sudden, and then Omega takes a step forward and just turns around and faces him, does the gunshot thing, and then shit kicks off. I can see it, and it's going to be sweet. It's mad.
There were many things. Like I mentioned to you guys, I think I put it on Twitter in a conversation with Kev. Shout out to Kev, where I said I've probably shat on all the false finishes that we had. I think it was a couple of weeks ago when it was Royal Rumble.
No, it was the NXT show.
And I took a mass. I was like, I think this was too many false finishes. But then this one had probably more than the false finishes at NXT.
Oh yeah,
worked.
Because
they sold the false finishes with their face. Like
until you mentioned those false finishes in the match last night, I didn't even cotton on. Like I'd only watched the match once at that point, but like I went away and watched it again, and I was like, oh, actually, there was quite a lot of false finishes.
There was a lot.
There was a load. I was like, I didn't know the result of this match. There was only one result of the whole night that I'd accidentally seen on Twitter. Cheers, Twitter. Where I was like, I voted for the Bucks here in the predictions. I'm hoping that the Bucks win, obviously to win predictions, but I think it'd be pretty cool. And every time that they were getting close, I was like, oh, this is going to happen. And then it didn't, and it didn't. And then when I think Paige and Omega did the buckshot
V-trigger,
and then he kicked out, I was just like, nah. You can't do this to me, boy.
Kemp was laughing at me because I got massively false finished. I was like, yes, they won.
There's a clip of this, Jack, by the way. It's clipped.
Is there? I have not seen it.
I went to see if there was any clips from your stream last night, and there is a clip of it. And there's also a clip of you desperate for a wee after this match as well, when you're standing there going, need a wee. Yeah, and as Curtis just said, just continue that. The Hangman's face after that, just the expression on Hangman's face was unreal.
Yeah.
And but back to false finishes. I'm fine with them if they're in context with the story and it keeps it flowing. If it's one of these big match feels, which it very clearly had, false finishes I'm perfectly fine with. I have no concern with them whatsoever because it keeps a match going, keeps you engaged. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
If it's just for the sake of it, then no.
Just on the false finishes, one of them was when Hangman hit One-Winged Angel, and that goes back into the thing that I was saying where Omega doesn't trust to do Hangman's finishes. He went to do the Kamigoye to win his match, but Page is using his finishes to try and finish matches.
But the storytelling around that as well.
Storytelling that's going on, and like the tiny little things that if you've not watched some of like. Obviously, if you don't know what a Kamigoye is because you don't watch the New Japan stuff, then you won't quite get it. But like the stuff is there for the casuals and the smarts with this story,
and also sort of fit in terms of in the match itself. It fits in with the Bucks working on Kenny's shoulder
because he was like, I can't lift him.
Yeah,
and he tried to lift him. He then tried to swap, but because he swapped, he took too much time, and therefore he could get out of it. It was brilliant. It was so good. Like literally, I've never been so engrossed in a match before where I think Alice probably heard me downstairs earlier just going, what? No! Ah! Just constant, like, going mad.
I think by the end, Jack was just in need of a piss so much that he didn't care what happened.
I did. I was desperate. I was going to piss myself. I really like how they did it in the Iron Man match. They did it here. How Kenny's teasing the top rope One-Winged Angel.
Yeah.
And I think they might tease that until this second match happens. And because once they hit it, it's going to be big mad.
I think it might hold off a little bit longer. I think that might be one of the finishes to a Page versus Omega match.
Maybe we'll
done
see.
By Page on Omega.
Oh, you never know.
Scenes.
The end of the match. So I can't remember what happened. It was the buckshot lariat, wasn't it?
Yeah. They did the buckshot V-trigger. One of the Bucks kicked out, and then Hangman basically just buckshot lariat to both of them one by one, and then came and pinned.
He buckshotted one outside of the ring.
Yeah,
and
then came back in and buckshot the other, and then pinned.
Yeah.
On the TNA ramp.
It's him asserting his dominance and saying, like, I'm the best here because I could just take both of them out.
Yeah,
which is
it was awesome. Good.
I was full on fuming in that clip. I've just watched it.
You got proper false finish.
Yeah, the end of the match, though,
Ollie Kemp,
was where it was kind of going on constantly. There was a tease, I think, of the super kick potentially. They were like, "Come on, let's celebrate together. Look, we've had this match. Let's bygones be bygones. Let's get through it. We're good friends." And there was still a bit of animosity there, but there was also actually,
they went to shake hands in the corner, didn't they? And Page turned them down and went to stand outside the ring. And then Omega went over to talk to the Bucks again.
And they all gave him the look.
Page put his title down. He was standing on the outside of the ring, put his title down.
He was holding the rope, both in the way that he holds it.
And then he sort of like, and as Omega turns around, he took his hands away from the rope and he's like, come on, I'll open the rope for you. And just like teasing it without doing it. And,
I thought they were going to do it. I genuinely thought they were going to do it. Then.
I did. I was like, it's happening, boy. It's happening, boy.
We forgot, I'm pretty sure, didn't the Bucks do like the golden knee thing? Which was Ibushi and
golden V trigger.
Yeah, which is Fiends' golden lovers move. Yeah,
yes, they did. They also there was lots of stuff outside as well onto the ramp.
Proper smarky New Japan level.
Yeah, the
commentators were great.
Did, Northern Light suplex, didn't he? He did the 3, 2 on the outside, which was cushioned, then 1 onto the LED one, and it was like, ugh. But yeah, it was. It was. Yeah,
just watching clips. The channel might get TOS if I start standing up with a.
Yeah,
this again. You can quite clearly see the outline of my knob.
There is a bulge, yeah.
What? Link me that now, please.
Yeah,
Big link.
I don't know this, but like the comments of down the side were just incredible reads. I'd take the off so he couldn't hear me, and I was like, "Jack, move."
Can you see it? Yeah, I can see it. Let's just go, Jack, go.
Curtis made a very good point in the chat as well. He said the commentators were great here with the Hangman stuff at the end. I thought I saw something. I think Excalibur said it first, then Tony was like, "Yeah, I think I did as well," and then they kind of just left it. And it's like, "Ooh, tease you! Oh, dirty teasers! You love to see it." Then we had the women's match: Chris Statlander, Nyla Rose. It's going to be hard to follow such a story-driven, excellent match.
Which is why they gave it to the women, because they don't care about women in AEW.
Yeah, my biggest problem with this, and I said this last week, was we didn't know who the Nyla Rose was facing. If it was Statlander, too soon, way too soon, because she's going to have to lose. You can't have a false finish. And you can't have Nyla Rose lose, because then that's just stupid. And then people will be like, "Oh, you've made her drop the title. That's not very good for the kind of image of the OBGTQ plus whatever you're trying to do."
Like further bury if you've got the women's division where your women's title holder can't have a title defense, because this is her first defense of that title, bury the division further. So she has to win. The match was fairly sloppy, I think.
Fucking loose as fuck, if I remember correctly.
It was a little bit.
It was just, there was a lot of didn't quite get all of it going on a lot there.
Yeah, it was the hardest spot in the entire pay-per-view to go on after that match. They need, like, if they, I don't know what they could have done to make this match better. They
actually wrestle better.
They did that, but like, even if they'd have wrestled better, they wouldn't have got any crowd reaction. Jack would have still gone for his piss at the start of the match, because it was in the horrible place, and nobody cares about, like I said, there was zero build to this match apart from the fact that they had a face off at the top of a ramp 2 weeks ago with Big Swole, who got pinned on Dynamite this week.
See, I'm under the impression that I can see why Nyla Rose is champion.
Yeah.
Because she is a force. She can beat people quite quickly, potentially.
It needed to be a squash, but then it kills Statlander anyway.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I've got with this, is if it was somebody else,
Riho.
if they've done that match on Dynamite, right? Just hear me out.
Yeah.
They did that match on Dynamite, and she'd have won it. I know that's probably the wrong person, but if they'd have picked somebody like Sakazaki or Shanna to win that match, she's had a bit of momentum here, let's put her in. I know that kind of scraps the rankings thing, because Shanna's probably like number 7, but she goes into this match with Nyla Rose, massive squash, done. Then move on to Big Swole versus Statlander in number 1 contendership match. Maybe add Britt Baker in there at some point, because she's got a bit of heat behind her with the heel stuff.
Like you say that, but what they could have done was, Rio is currently number 2, but she's not getting a rematch yet because she's probably got a Stardom booking, and therefore she's probably stuck in Japan because they're not allowed to fly out. I don't know. Might be the reason why Rio. Like you could feasibly come up with a storyline reason why Riho's not in it. So you give a number 1 contenders title match to numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you get Shanna, you get Britt Baker, you get Yuka Sakazaki. I don't know exactly who those 4 are, but you could have had those 4, had number 5 pin number 6, whilst numbers 3 and 4 are on the outside because they're too busy fighting with each other. And all of a sudden, you've got number 5 in the rankings as somebody that you can get Nyla Rose to squash, and then you can slowly build towards Nyla Rose squashing some more people on TV, getting a bit of momentum behind it, and building a story for Rio or Chris Statlander or Big Swole or Shanna or anybody to kind of work their way up and become the next challenger, because it's not going to be Britt Baker because she's a heel and Nyla Rose is a heel. They're building a Britt Baker storyline, which is good. We've not seen anything of Britt Baker for 2 weeks now, which is a little bit poor, but like, you can't have everything every week. I don't mind that. As long as they keep that on a slow build, that'll be good for when Nyla Rose finally drops the title. But where's the build of the faces? Like, we're not getting any build of a face to face here to face Nyla Rose or even to face Britt Baker.
I don't know, but Rose won.
That's put you in the mud there, Smooth, hasn't he?
Well, not put me in the mud. He's kind of just taken my original point and made it better. Cheers, Matt. Good booking. Livid. Cody versus MJF.
I'm fuming, but it was the right result.
I'm
fuming.
You lot are idiots. Up the MJF. Up
I'm
the boys.
absolutely fuming, but it was the right result. And
big new tattoo. What? Cody's tattoo. Can we address this elephant in the room?
Jesus Christ.
He could have had that anywhere else on his body, but puts it on his neck. And when he turns his neck in a certain way, it looks horrendous.
What is it? The Nightmare Family emblem? Were they saying?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
That's the.
He could have had it on his arm.
Crest,
you know what I mean? Like inside of his
arm. And I wouldn't have had to look at it.
Cheers. Thanks. And can't beat a bit of live downstate for you. WWE 11.
Oh my God! Fuck me! Jesus fucking Christ! I was fuming. I was fuming. They are terrible. Never just quit. Absolutely quit.
Fucking hilarious. Me and Jack were just fucking shocked now. This is fucking awful.
I did agree that this the original recording is so much better.
Yeah, because it's full of autotune. Because there's either that or the guy's had a stroke and half his vocal cords don't work anymore. Just, oh my God, it was awful. And then fucking Cody Rhodes walks down with 4 random blokes in Bullet Club knockoff jackets.
They were wearing the Nightmare Family jacket, Matt. Come on. Bullet Club and also, one of them was one of the trainers. Like, you know, one of the medical trainers who comes out all the time. He was wearing one because I noticed. I was like, hang on, I've seen you before. And then realised it was one of the guys who's normally at ringside when someone gets attacked.
Who were they?
One of them was Thingy Amel, wasn't it? Green Arrow.
Timo said that last night, didn't he?
I was like, because they're good friends, I think. Because they did a thing in WWE ages ago.
Excellent. Why?
Because they're best friends, and he wants to be a wrestler.
Yeah, but who were the other 3? Who were the other 3? You had fucking Big Arn Anderson, Brandy Rhodes, and then 4 randomers. Who were they? While all this was happening, you had some shit singers singing as well. Fucking no, get out.
And they played the entirety of the song. Like,
yeah, exactly. They were just stood there at the bottom of the ramp like it's just going to fucking end.
This is Cody's entrance.
And then he was like stood there, doing some stuff, and was like saying goodbye to everyone when they all disappeared. Because obviously it was just Arn and Brandy who was ringside, and then he stood on the top rope waiting for the song to finish. Well, and MJF, you can see, he's just sat there going.
Well, I think it's because they wanted to zoom in on the tattoo, didn't they? Have you seen there's a GoFundMe to get his tattoo removed already? Someone set up a GoFundMe for his tattoo removal.
We weren't saying about that. It could have been anywhere on his body, but there.
Have you seen somebody quote tweeted I think it was the 26th of January, Cody tweeted, what's the best tattoo parlor in the Chicago area or whatever it was, and his quote tweeted it and said he clearly didn't get the right answer, did he, guys?
Well, what was the other one? Someone had tweeted Brandy Rose and said, "Oh, if this is what his decisions making's like, what's the AEW going to be like in the coming weeks?" I was just like, I'm dead. I'm done.
Right, I'm going to put in the chat in a second. This is a genuine. Someone's donated £5 to this donation for this.
Could you get a picture of the tattoo up on screen?
Yes.
Donated $5. I'm donating because I've been through cancer twice, and yet somehow neither of those near-death experiences were near as painful or humiliating as the pain and shame I felt when trying to watch Cody wrestle MJF while violently face palming at the garish. I can't read it. It's gone up. The garish and nauseating midlife crisis that was going on the side of Cody's neck. Speaking of which, it's been like 6 hours now, and my hand is still attached to my face. Do I have to seek medical advice, treatment for this, like you with a boner or what? Because if I'm going to A&E to make a trip to ER, then I guess I better get the doc to have a look down there too, since I've been existing in a persistently erect state ever since Orange Cassidy's entrance pyro somehow managed to give even less of a fuck than he does.
I love it.
Oh my god. That was poorly read, by the way. I'm not a teacher at all.
That was a £5 donation.
My goodness. The match itself, I've seen what Curtis said up above. The build to it has been great, but it fell flat. I kind of agree. I thought it was a bit flat. The storytelling was there. You could have done so much with it.
I mean, it was okay. It lacked a little bit to me.
It just shows both wrestlers are average. Yeah, they're both average wrestlers, and they're in a big spot.
Cody's managed to work his way around good matches so far on their pay-per-views, but he is a mid-carder at the end. Like, not in terms of his character work. His character work is fantastic, but his in-ring ability is not what the level of the likes of Pac, Omega, those guys is. His abilities in the ring are a little bit one-dimensional, and when he's working with somebody else who's one-dimensional and inexperienced, it kind of it came through, and
it wasn't a loose match. I don't think it
was just one dimension. Like there was
limiting.
It was all played in second gear. It wasn't like a match that kind of started off slow and built because there's nothing really that these guys can go to. They don't have the top boy popper moves. They just they can't do them.
I full on called it as well, by the way, when I said that MJF's going to turn into Pete Dunne and bite Cody's big.
Yeah, fair fucks for that one. Yeah. Viking Dan's not here. I saw a tweet earlier on. Shout out from Viking Dan, which and it kind of sort of fits in because I hate how much Cody loves himself. I find the hate of ironic. I find the hate of Triple H ironic as fuck because he essentially HHH at WrestleMania himself every time he steps into the ring. And I agree in this respect. I think it sort of ties in with the entrance more than anything. But yeah, the thing with Cody is I don't think he's average in the ring at all. I don't. MJF, yes, but I don't think Cody is at all. I think Cody's a very good wrestler. But I think he needs someone better to bring out the best in him. For someone like, for instance, when he wrestled Kurt Angle when they were on the Indies for Defiant or WCPW or whatever it was back then, fantastic matches. Even the Wardlow match I thought was brilliant in comparison. This match was meh compared to the Wardlow match. And
Wardlow match, stipulation match that every single good spot in that match was either Wardlow calling his finisher the F10 because he's twice as good as Brock Lesnar, or using the cage. At some in some that was good storytelling, and the wrestling that was good was all using the cage. So
I was bored watching the highlights.
What this
yeah,
it would, and as much as you say he needs better workers to get it out of him, that doesn't make him a good wrestler. It means that he can listen to good wrestlers. Like I assume that he had good matches in WWE when he was with good wrestlers in the ring, but
when he was with Goldust and that match against the Shield for the
that was brilliant,
incredible.
Yeah,
and like his match against Dustin was an absolute classic because he had somebody experienced to drag him through it,
and they told a fantastic story, just like the tag team match.
But this one just lacked. It did. I
Classic
agree.
Case of the build being absolutely fantastic and overhyping you for the match.
But it would have had to have been unbelievable for it to have really matched the hype. Think about it.
The thing is, they tried to fit too many callbacks to what's happened over the last couple of weeks.
But then see, I disagree. I disagree because if you could use that argument for the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Hangman, where a lot of it is just callback, a lot of not just callbacks, but a lot of it's callbacks that fed into a good story. This was callbacks which sort of peaked the match rather than kept the match going. If you see what I'm saying,
yeah.
I mean, the peak moments of the match was like the belt spot.
Remember any wrestling matches? Any like the amount of wrestling moves that were done?
MJF's wrestling consists of stamping on the foot and eye poking, and generally doing chicken shit heel runaway tag,
which is understandable because that's what he's good at.
Yeah, but then
like he threw a beer in the crowd, like
and then Brandy threw a beer at Wardlow as well.
Yeah, because Brandy decided to do a crossbody on Wardlow, like Wardlow wasn't going to fall over without. And then Cody doing the I'm going to hit Arn, whoops, soz lol.
I mean, Brandy was probably thinking she was the woman who pulled it off to film Glow that was
Awesome Kong.
Yeah, she's channeling Awesome Kong. She was late for the match and now she thinks she is her.
Yeah, more than likely. But
it kind of came out of I don't know.
Good, but could do better. I think it's really
but the end where I'm sure Wardlow had the ring because he gave it to him at the start. So obviously someone had given him the ring again.
Yeah.
And then he's taken it out of his pants, punched him in the face after he's been given 3 crossroads, which I'm sorry, you don't get up after you've had 3 crossroads.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
I seem to remember 2.
I remember 2. He did 2 and he tried.
And then there was a punch. No, he went to do the 3rd and that's where MJF punched him. He gave him 2, picked him up again, and then that's where the punch was.
Yeah, sorry, he did count at the 3rd, I remember.
Yes, smooth. Knocked you out.
Sorry. And then he hit him with the ring and then just fell on him.
Yeah.
The blood was unnecessary.
But the Cody match has to have a blood in it because
that was clearly a blade job because I don't remember how he got the blood in first place.
Oh yeah,
I fell over and hit his head on the.
I was trying to figure it out.
The railings on the outside.
I was trying to figure it out. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And you could tell because the camera didn't even go and look around that side for ages. I was like, that's a blade.
As much as like I've praised Cody in the last few weeks, my criticisms of Cody are coming back in here. He's dyed his hair blonde because he wants to be Ric Flair, and he blades himself all the time so that he can rub his hand through his hair, make it half red, half blonde, and feel like he's Ric Flair. He's a bang average worker, and this match I shat over Cody all the way up till Christmas. Since Christmas, I've been really positive about him, and this has just dropped off a cliff again. I assume they've held back in this match because the plan is in the next. Like, obviously, MJF's going to say, "Right, I've beaten you. When I'm never having a match with you ever again. You don't deserve it." I assume at some point MJF will cheat his way to the title. And that's how you get Cody back to having a title match again. I know Cody's never having a title match again, but he's going to have a title match again. And I assume that they're doing long-term storytelling. I just hope that people still care 2 years down the line or whenever they manage to get to this.
Probably not. It's IWC, isn't it?
God.
You're all just mad that I'm the only one that picked MJF because
you're
just bad predictors.
He did what it needed to do. It made me go, "What? Cody lost, MJF won." Urgh, angry, and then watching Cody be all depressed and be like, "I've let everybody down," and look like I was about to cry. Kind of good. Sold it.
Arn Anderson should have sprung up with him to free him up.
Cheers. Orange Cassidy versus Pac. I know Matthew is probably going to take a massive dump on this.
I'm not going to take a massive dump on it.
You're going to take a massive dump on it. Good.
No, I'm not going to take a massive dump on it. It's exactly what I expected. It was the piss break match before the title match.
It did. It needed what it needed to do. It was the match between two big, serious segments, and this was like the comedy relief in between.
I thought it was great.
And it was a pretty decent match. And
got to see more of Cassidy doing his stuff.
Yeah,
which was nice.
There's not really much to talk about it, to be fair. We can just skip over it, maybe.
Yeah, he's got a mean DDT as that Orange Cassidy boy.
He is good. But it was the right result for Pac to win.
He's also like how I would be as a wrestler, the king of sloth style. You love to see it.
Exactly.
Pac won, by the way. AEW World Championship match, Moxley versus Chris Jericho. This is where my big bugbear is. What I've just seen what's going on.
Goatbird.
What is he doing?
I don't understand, but it looks like Goatbird.
It's because people have been moaning that Goldberg's really old and Chris Jericho's really old.
He's not a champion anymore, is he?
Chris Jericho.
No, I know. So I'm just enjoying Simpsons wrestling memes. So
my biggest bugbear with this one was, do you know how we said that rules in AEW don't matter? That was massively evident in this match. Oh, let's make them wrestle in the crowd. It's not a Falls Count Anywhere match. Why are you not counting him out, Aubrey? I like Aubrey, by the way. I'm not taking.
I called her Audrey Hebner on stream last night by accident.
I love that. But yeah, I just felt
I get my bugbears out of the way because every time that Moxley's been out since he got poked in the eye, his eye's been taped up underneath an eye patch. His eye wasn't taped up underneath an eye patch tonight. So immediately you knew exactly what was going to happen. And also, when towards the end of the match, he got his good eye raked, he knows that the other eye is fine, but he stumbles around blindly.
He's playing possum, Matt.
But he could have lost in that situation, and he sold like he was going to lose. But he knew that all he had to do was, oh shit, I can't see anymore, and I'm being attacked and I'm being knocked around. Why don't I just reach one of my hands up? I've got two hands. I can move that eye patch, and I will be able to see again miraculously. And yeah, it just that straight away takes me out of the realism. Like, you're supposed to have a suspension of disbelief with wrestling. Like, there are things that you just kind of go along with. That isn't one of them for me. You can't just randomly decide right at the end of the match, I'm going to pretend that I can see again after stumbling around blind for 3 minutes. That's just fucking retarded.
And there's the massive dump.
Right, just try and salvage this match then, shall we?
The ending was fucking horrendous.
I was weak as fuck.
I was. Do you know what? I'm glad. I think I said this to you guys earlier. I think I'm really glad that Moxley won, but that match was not what I wanted. It was flat.
It's not to shit on Jericho, but he can't really go that well like he did before.
No.
And each match has been a big match, but it's always been the same. Like, each match has. We've always said the same in a Jericho match. It's always felt flat.
Yeah.
Has he had a good match since the Omega Series in New Japan?
I haven't seen the Omega Series in New Japan. I would argue that I've not seen a good match from Chris Jericho.
He had a good match against Naito, didn't he? Was the Naito stuff in Japan after Kenny?
It was Kenny first. It was Kenny first.
The Naito matches were all right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It was all right.
Yeah,
there's nothing.
But like he had a melty 5-star with Omega, didn't he?
Yeah, but that was in Tokyo.
When he just
that was in Tokyo.
Oh, fair enough.
5 stars.
He had just left WWE,
Huh?
He just left WWE, so that was what.
So he didn't have dad bod back then as well.
True.
I mean, he lost quite a bit of weight for this match. I know they never got to do the weigh-in, but like,
I think that's why they didn't do it.
But he's definitely lost weight since the Wrestle Kingdom match. Because in Wrestle Kingdom, he had my physique.
Oh,
and
he had man boobs, didn't he?
Yeah.
And like
wrong
he's
with that, mate.
definitely a bit lighter for last night's match. But he's like I said this from the start. Jericho can't go in the ring, but that's not what they're using him for. I think this was the wrong decision. I stand by the fact that Chris Jericho should have retained here. The only thing keeping Jericho able to do what he's been able to do is the title. How do you have him be the dickhead ass heel that he's been when he can't be an arrogant fuck because he's got the title?
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Second, where does Jericho go next?
Yeah.
Because
where's this going?
He goes on tour with Fozzy because they've just probably in the process of releasing a new album.
Then what happens to the Inner Circle?
Inner Circle.
Yeah, I think you
killing off the rest of the Inner Circle as well. So basically,
no, I'm not saying kill off the Inner Circle.
Yes, movement, cunt.
Everybody's praising Jericho for putting over the other talent, which he has done. He put over Jungle Boy. He's put over some of the other guys.
Sammy.
He put over Darby Allin and like he put over Darby Allin in the some of the build to this match.
Yeah, and he had the 10-minute match with Thingy, didn't he? Yeah.
He's put over some talent incredibly, but if he leaves now, he kills the Inner Circle. He kills any momentum that Sammy Guevara has. He kills Jake Hager, who's already dead. He's Jack.
Sammy Guevara has. He's lost to Dustin and lost to Darby.
I kind of disagree, though.
Sammy Guevara was Teflon. Like, he can lose matches and stay over because of the way he wrestles.
Yeah, but win records.
Yeah, but we all know wins and losses don't really matter.
Yeah, but they do because they don't.
They don't.
Unless I think they're going to kick Jericho out the Inner Circle on Wednesday. And Guevara's going to step in. And Sammy will step in and run the show. Because Sammy's great on the mic as well.
Is Jack going to say what I'm thinking and MJF takes it over?
That's what I've just said.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Lance Archer's debuting.
Oh, we got Luke Harper as well, haven't we? Brody Lee, soon, Ascension. No, it's next week.
Yeah,
it's the week after this. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I just think I'm sure.
Got it perfect. DSX after Mania 2014.
I genuinely think, because I'm sure I looked on. I was doing big Apple Music search the other day, and I was listening to Fozzy. You know, got to get that in.
Why would you put yourself through that pain?
I was just listening to Judas. That's literally it.
Judas is an okay song. The rest are trash. It's okay
because it's quality. But they released. Okay, no, their last song was released in August 2019, so that was wrong. So maybe he's not taking time off. I just thought they might be doing stuff on.
Yeah, Judas just on repeat.
Yeah, it was. Do you know when you go to the essentials part, get to the Fozzy essentials part, and you just go, why am I here? I'll just go to Judas.
Just remember,
#repeat.
Why am I here?
He can't be going away because they're doing another show on a boat in April. I'm pretty sure they've got another show on a Jera cruise.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he takes a couple of weeks off and just.
Fucking hell, Chris! What was that? Oh, no!
Renegades are doing Big L. We can't allow that. Sorry, I got a bit overexcited by the Renegades doing a Big L. Renegades. Oh yeah, the Dallas Renegades are the official Bad Bookers XFL team.
Yeah.
Since when?
Since last night.
Since last night.
Did I not get a say in this?
No, you don't.
Where was my
Is there not a team of sloths in there?
Dallas Renegades.
You can't just drop bombshells like this.
No, I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
Smoothman, you were in the chat when this happened.
I wasn't paying attention to that.
It's not my problem, really, is it?
No, it's not.
I'm having my team as Los Angeles Extreme.
Oh, but they're not.
Right,
they're shit.
I've got a new idea.
Extreme.
I've got a new.
That has to be the team.
No, Dallas
and the Battlehawks have got to be second.
I have a new idea.
Stop whispering.
Shush. I've got a new idea that we all put a name into a hat, and that's the one that we get.
All right, okay,
for this season, and then we change it every season.
Right, okay, okay, then we'll right. Jack will do it
off stream.
No, yeah.
We'll do it off stream, and then we'll put it as an extra video.
We put every team in a hat.
We put every team in a hat, and then we pick one out, Or we do like those spinny things that you do on the internet where you put all the teams in. He's going to do it right now. So we'll finish while he's doing that, and we'll do it after this. So we
just as you've said that the bad bookers picked whatever shit team you've decided to pick, and you're wrong. The bad bookers have picked the Los Angeles Extreme because as king of the bad bookers. Because we haven't mentioned this on the podcast. I know we mentioned it on stream, but
not officially. I'm still the best bad booker. The predictions haven't finished yet.
But the predictions,
not having it.
The predictions, I've already won it. I've won this year's predictions.
It's like giving Liverpool the title right now. It's happening, boys.
No, but Liverpool lost last night. They're going to bottle the rest of the games, and City are going to win the league.
Hardly. Team off union.
Right, okay, what are the teams? I can do a wheel and we'll do it on stream.
Right, you do that while we finish talking. You finish that while we finish talking about this. The match.
Kind of so northern there.
Who, me? I know.
Yeah. Fucking what, mate? You got a full devil there, innit?
I don't know. It did feel flat, did Jericho Moxley. The outcome I'm happy with because Moxley did big win. And his promo at the end, he got cut off by his own music, and he's like, "What are you doing? What? I do what I want. I'm not scripted."
He had that unscripted shirt on as well, didn't he?
He did, and then he's got a new shirt which says "I was there when he won the title." I think for me, it's just I think Moxley, with his momentum, had to win the title. I know Matt disagrees, and
Moxley losing could in theory have killed his momentum.
Killed all momentum. He might as well be Dean Ambrose if he lost.
Because it will mean so much when Paige takes the title off Moxley or Omega takes the title off Moxley.
Yep,
it will mean so much when that happens.
My issue with this is WWE guy is the first guy to have the title. WWE guy is the second guy to have the title. I personally don't think that it's TNA 2.0, but you are going to get loads more Twitter arguments of it's just TNA 2.0 now from dickheads who only think that you can either watch NXT or AEW and you can only like one of them. And
don't get me started on that. Just if you enjoy watching wrestling, watch whatever you feel like. Don't have to push the agenda. I'm sorry. I'm fed up of seeing it, to be quite honest.
Fucking backbone on smooth.
Well, right, I'm going to click spin on the
right.
I wish we could see it on screen.
First? We have to pick one for Toast as well.
Let's not bother talking about any of the other wrestling this week. Let's just pick XFL teams.
Right, so the teams are the LA Wildcats, New York Guardians, Tampa Bay Vipers, DC Defenders, Houston Roughnecks, St. Louis Battlehawks, Dallas Renegades, and Seattle Dragoons.
Seattle, I'm not happy.
You've only got half the teams there.
Is there more?
Yeah, you've got Los Angeles Extreme, Orlando Rage, Tampa Bay Vipers, San Francisco Demons.
Tampa Bay Vipers.
Well, wasn't it Orlando Rage?
Do you want me to read them to you? Do you want me to read them to you so you can make sure you've got them? Hurry up, Wikipedia.
Right.
This is exciting.
So, why does it not have all the teams? What is going on, Wikipedia?
Right, Jack. St. Louis Battlehawks, you've got.
Yep.
Houston Roughnecks.
Yep.
Seattle Dragons.
Yep.
Dallas Renegades.
Yep.
New York Guardians.
Yep.
Tampa Bay Vipers.
Yep.
LA Wildcats.
Yep.
DC Defenders.
Yep.
Los Angeles Extreme.
And
it's not. They don't extreme.
They're not.
And then TREME.
They actually are not. I can't see them.
Orlando Rage. San Francisco.
Team will sold on. Team will say
they don't exist, Matt.
Well, according to they literally this is what comes up at the top of Google if you Google XFL.
Yeah, yes, because it's all 2001. You big nonce.
Oh, for you, man. You go on Wikipedia. They're all there. Right. I was right.
I am going to XFL Home. This is great content, by the way.
I'm doing big spin.
We've already got the big aim. Content. Matt wants to support a team that's not existed for 19 fucking years.
I've done big spin.
That's even better.
Who's going first?
Tampa Bay Vipers.
Well, big rated RKO.
This is quality content. I like the chair as well.
So what are you doing? Are you actually
the last one left is the team we pick. New York Guardians have gone.
You'd love to see it.
Top quality content.
Are we doing this one each, or are we just doing it as a collective?
We're having a...
Oh! Dallas Renegades have gone.
Oh! Our team have gone, Jack. Allow it.
Oh.
Big limbs.
LA Wildcats have gone.
Oh, we need it to be Seattle because it's going to royally fuck Smoothman off.
We've got 4 left. 4 left.
It's not the Sea Chickens, so it's all good. I might be able to get down with it.
The Battle Hawks have gone.
Who gives fuck about St. Louis anyway?
3 left. Seattle, Houston, and DC Defenders.
Con Houston Roughnecks.
Go DC.
DC Defenders have gone.
Smoothman, stop talking. Anything you say just goes wrong.
Seattle.
Roughnecks versus Seattle.
Seattle. Do big disappear.
This is top podcast
this is
quality.
Top quality podcast.
And the big bad bookers XFL team is Houston Roughnecks.
Yes, get in. Let's go and follow them on Twitter.
So we are. This is content, by the way. Thanks to our listeners for bearing with us.
We are big Houston Roughnecks fans.
We have now picked our own XFL team that we're going to support as a podcast collective. I will watch 0 games.
Watch more. Up the boys.
Yeah. We've got NXT to talk about.
Are we going to do all of this or not? Because unfortunately, I am very limited on time now.
I know. Anything of note on NXT apart from Imperium taking out Finn Balor?
Rhea Ripley stamp on the stairs.
Yeah, so if we just go through, I'll literally summarise it because I think I'm the only person that's watched it.
I watched it as well.
So Dominik Dijakovic is maybe not I got pissed off last week when it looked like we were getting Dominik Dijakovic versus Keith Lee. There's now going to have to be some form of number 1 contenders match because he got attacked after beating Cameron, or he lost to Cameron Grimes and was attacked by Damian Priest during the match. So there's going to have to be probably a triple threat for the number 1 contendership for that. Obviously, we had the Finn Balor thing.
The fucking face turn. Crazy.
It's not a face turn.
It is a face turn.
It's not
a face turn.
Okay. It's the start of a face turn.
It's not.
It is.
Not.
100%.
He will have to be cheered because he's facing Imperium. That doesn't make him a face. It's just a heel versus heel where the crowd, they're directing who the crowd who to get behind.
We will see what his promo is next week.
He will stay as the Prince. He'll still be a dickhead. He'll just try and get the crowd on side for the feud where he has to fight Walter, probably at
Walter.
Probably at the takeover before Mania. No, I think it'll be at Mania weekend.
It'll be a face
Dublin's turn. 3 weeks after that. He won't be a face.
And he will be a face. There needs to be someone to fill the void as the major babyface. NXT.
Tommaso
Ciampa is the major babyface on NXT.
But he's not going to be on every week, is he?
Why not?
Because he can't wrestle every week.
He's been on every week so far since he came back. They don't have most of them don't wrestle every week. Finn Balor's had 3 matches since he came back to NXT.
It's a face turn.
Chris,
the other thing is,
no. We'll see. But he's definitely turning face.
We've got a match set up for WrestleMania weekend already, which is going to be the number 1 contendership for the women's title, which is going to be a ladder match.
They haven't announced all of the people for that yet. We don't know how they're getting into it. We had another stupid interrupt in the middle of a women's match because NXT seem to not care about their women either at the moment. It was Mia Yim versus Xia Li, wasn't it? And they had that stupid Raquel Gonzalez with Dakota Kai coming out, which I didn't like. Austin Theory versus Ciampa was good.
I liked it. It was good.
Really good match. Killian Dane versus Bronson Reed happened.
Big sweaty men with meat.
Yeah.
Meat colliding is all that happened.
And then Grizzled Young Vets versus the Forgotten Sons, which I believe somebody tried to tell me that the Forgotten Sons were face here.
Smoothman.
No, I didn't.
It was definitely smooth.
I did not say anything about the Forgotten Sons.
I'm pretty sure it was Chris when he was talking about
Chris loves face turn.
And he was saying that they were. I believe he said it in the chat. Was that right, Chris?
Yeah. So I'm gonna state here that I've only watched clips from NXT.
So basically,
and from what I saw, and from the chats and the streams of shite that was thrown around on Reddit, it looked pretty face to me.
But it's right. What you seem to be doing is, if a heel has to be cheered in a feud, it's a face turn. They're not. They're still heels, but because the other heels are criticizing America and they're the Americans within this feud, they're getting cheered. They're not faces at all. They're still a bunch of bastards.
Yeah.
But because
can I just point out that how many face turns have been on the America line? Yeah. The Miz is definitely an example of a face turn off America. Anyone who faced Rusev early in the days.
After the Forgotten Sons have finished this feud with Grizzled Young Veterans, there is no way on earth that they are going to be faces.
Clip this.
Just because you need somebody to be cheered in a heel versus heel storyline does not mean one of those heels has to turn face. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It does.
It absolutely doesn't.
How many examples can you tell me of that not happening? I can't think
of anything off the top of my head, but
how many examples of what? Sorry.
How many examples of heel versus heel in that sort of situation? The match explained there. How many of those have led to one of them not turning babyface?
Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler in the cage. Neither of them turned babyface. They were both heels.
It's a face turn.
Cool. Cheers.
It's not a face turn.
Shayna Baszler. No, not Shayna Baszler.
What?
For goodness sake. Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. We're talking about face turns and I'm just going crazy.
This was fucking hilarious. The only thing that's noteworthy from this match is Rhea Ripley hanging at the top of the steps to do her pose before going to just go and dump Charlotte out.
The ring.
Ref literally pushed her. Like, could you not? Like, just get in the ring.
Like, obviously, the thing here is they're already 5 minutes overrun. So they're 5 minutes after their 2 hours on USA Network.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then Rhea Ripley's music hits. And she's clearly been told by whoever produces, go out with your entrance. And she's obviously gone, well, my entrance involves me stamping on the floor with the drop of the music.
Yeah.
And Charlotte Flair's obviously been given the, you need to hurry this up because we're overrunning. Make sure you try and break a leg with the chair and do the figure eight spot. And Rhea Ripley stood there at the top of the ring, fucking dancing around and stamping on the floor. And oh my god!
They cut it from YouTube.
Get in the fucking ring! Get in the fucking ring! And she's like, "What?" And then as she walks past the referee, he shoves her in the back and goes, "Get in the fucking ring, you stupid!"
One thing, because I noticed it and then I saw it in all the comments on Reddit, and then I tried to tell you guys in the DMs about it, and I went, "Huh." Wait a minute, I'm sure that happened. And then it turns out that the YouTube clip, the official WWE YouTube clip, skipped it.
And I was like, what
are you talking about?
It didn't happen. What are you talking about?
Chris.
So I went to watch it live and I was like, oh shit, it did happen. What are you doing?
It was just terrible. Like the fact that she was supposed to be doing this run-in to save Bianca Belair. And yeah, she danced around on the stage. Poor from Rhea Ripley.
And Dakota Kai was like, we are NXT on Twitter.
Yeah.
So final thing of note for this week was SmackDown happened, and we've got 2 WrestleMania matches already: Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, and Fiend versus.
I'm next. The big dog next.
Even though we need to have an Elimination Chamber match, surely
we're not having an Elimination Chamber match because obviously they've got 2 Elimination Chamber matches, which are
tag
pay-per-views. Everyone,
every match
will be an Elimination Chamber.
It actually will.
Elimination Chamber to see who gets in the Elimination Chamber match.
I assume that Sheamus and Lacey Evans are one of the tag teams because they've both said they're going into an Elimination Chamber match. And the Raw Women's, and neither of them are Raw women, therefore they must be a tag team.
Seems.
I don't understand what's going on, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. AEW.
Oh, Curtie, we did the 2 title changes at the start. I was the only one that watched it. No, we don't really care about it.
Yeah, like we don't talk.
Didn't happen, Curtie. Didn't happen.
Well, those things happened, but didn't happen. If you see what I'm saying.
We don't watch things that happen in countries.
Blood money.
where, yeah.
It was big shits.
Yeah.
Ricochet died for our sins.
Fucking did. Jesus Christ, poor lad.
He's Kofi Kingston, isn't he? Yeah.
Which is anyone that isn't a big lad.
That is completely true, Timor. The Fiend is still champ. Can we...
I wish he wasn't.
Yeah.
Who's going to work off that?
Transition.
That pretty much sums up this week. AEW did big win. That's all we need to say, really. Yeah, thanks. Next week is episode 99, and it's going to be our big 2-year anniversary special. So you need to be here next week, 8 p.m. GMT. Twitch.tv.
Shit, that's next week.
Next week is 2 years, and then the episode afterwards is the big 100.
So we've got big 2 weeks coming up. So 2-year anniversary.
It's going out like 2 hours before Elimination Chamber. If you want to hear our predictions before Chamber, you need to be here live.
Indeed.
You love to see it.
Guest league predictions for Elimination Chamber will come out on Twitter Wednesday or Thursday.
Did you guys talk about the cage match, the new AEW pay-per-view? Or the War Games one?
Yeah, it's not a pay-per-view. It's an episode of Dynamite.
Oh, sorry. But anyway, go on.
We initially thought it was going to be a pay-per-view, but yeah, Blood and Guts is going to be an episode of Dynamite like Bash at the Beach was.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And they're War Gamesing it, aren't they?
But no, keep an eye on Twitter for Elimination Chamber guest league predictions.
Damn straight.
Thursday, depending on when we actually get a card.
0 out of 5 confirmed.
Or firing those shots.
Go on, Smooth.
Wahab going to do big win again. Once again, thank you very much for all of the people in the chat over on our Twitch, twitch.tv/badbookers. Make sure you're here next week, 8 p.m. GMT for our 2-year anniversary special. I need to cough.
Did you just stop?
Dabbing on the Wahab haters.
No, he's worried about coronavirus. The latest thing is always cough into your elbow.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter at BadBookersWP. Make sure if you like what you hear and would like to donate some money to us to make us better, help us with equipment, give me more money.
We need to pay Toast to get us affiliate. Support us on Patreon. We need to pay Toast. He's an expensive boy.
He is.
Yeah.
He goes to Hawaii every other week.
Yeah, we need. If I want a holiday to Hawaii, you need to give us.
We need big contract.
But yeah, go over to Patreon. Like we say, I know we're joking, but it's all much appreciated. It's not expected, but it's much appreciated. That Power Slam TV, they're very good. Make sure that you use Bad Bookers for a free month code over there to watch all the independent wrestling to your heart's content. Anything else I've missed?
Benoit was framed.
100% confirmed.
Bye, guys. To say thanks to the chat because we've had some really interesting discussions with the guys in the chat as well as the guys on the pod this week.
Top boys and girls. Well done.
Really enjoyed it. Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much for listening. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Movement's the best Bad Booker.
Oh, that's incorrect.
That's just scientifically incorrect.
Look at the predictions league, mate. And
I didn't say best at predictions. I said best Bad Booker. Get it right.